Hello, I'm Tom Callos. I'm here to talk to you about martial arts school management. It wasn't that long ago, actually, that I ran some incredibly successful martial arts schools. Giant enrollments and great income and a big staff. And, we were rocking and rolling. And on top of all that, we were producing really fine martial arts practitioners. And I was just talking to a school owner who shared his and her stats with me. And we were talking about ingredients that would improve these numbers, that would compel people to inquire, that would compel them to come and try, to enroll. And the most important part was to compel them to stick to it so that the promises of our work could be fulfilled, that you would develop some courage in those classes if you're a young person, that you would have that knowledge that when you fall down you can get back up, that you do develop skills of problem solving and teamwork and calmness under pressure and all the things that sit in the periphery of what we do for a living. And so we were talking about strategies to improve their numbers, and it made me reflect on what made my school a school that was better than average, that was big, that was successful, and that was fulfilling to work at emotionally, mentally, physically, and financially. And I think that it comes down to the message. There's so many things that you and I have derived from our training and that are a part of it. I, for one, learned to communicate those things in our marketing, in my message to new members, in the phone calls, and in every single class I taught. I didn't let those things go unspoken. I knew that I was entertaining an audience beyond the students themselves. I didn't have the capacity like we do now to film those moments so that a bigger audience could see it, but I worked on the parents. I made sure they attended classes. How do you keep a child from dropping out when they hit the wall? And every student hits the wall when their parents don't even know what you're saying to the kids, when they're not getting chicken skin or the tear in their eye because you're talking about something that's valuable and important, not only in their own lives, but in the lives of all human beings, like compassion and perseverance and the ability to work together and to overcome problems without violence and to find the motivation when it's absent. These are things that you learn and practice in every class. But a lot of you, when I watch your classes, there's not a peep of that. There's not any dialogue that reminds people of what's coming, what the potential of our work is. And you can't let those things go unspoken. And I'll tell you, if you can speak them to your class, you can speak them to your community. If you can speak them to your community, you can speak them to your class. But you cannot teach a jiu-jitsu or an aikido or a taekwondo or a karate class like we used to with people who didn't have a command of English or an understanding of the work that they could communicate, and just teach it with technique. And then watch the kids go off and the parents are on their cell phones and nobody gets involved or is reminded, hey, you know why you do this work? It's not because you're kicking and punching or grappling. It's because you'll face problems in your life. Things will happen, you'll have challenges, you'll need courage and you'll need focus, and these things aren't to be left to chance. You come to this class to forge those things, to make them stronger, to make them easy to access, to keep them fresh in your mind so that when you face life's challenges, be they relationship or work or health or whatever, that you have a well of things that you've been cultivating and practicing that come to your aid. You're learning to interact with people, to overcome problems, to stick to things, which so few people do. They want, but they don't stick to the game, and that, makes it hard to achieve the things you'd like to achieve or to experience the kind of life you have to have or want to have if you learn how to stick to your goals and even through the hard times. So for those of you listening to this video, make sure that you're selling what it is that you do to your students in the classes. Don't leave it to chance. Don't think that your taekwondo or your karate or your jiu-jitsu by itself just delivers those lessons as if they came psychically. You, the one with the experience, has to be able to communicate these things to remind them so that they're not judging the payment of their classes and the time they have to invest up here. You have to get them here in the guts. You have to be able to make a compelling argument for why this is worthwhile and why you should be investing your time. And if you don't do that, you can't expect people just to know it. And part of the problem we have in our schools is that we have a great product. And lots of things happen through the process of training the martial arts, but we have a hard time communicating that. People don't know, or they're being educated by other sources that don't really represent our work. And then we have a hard time getting people to stick to the game because it's hard. So every single class, every message, every video, every speech, every advertisement, these are chances for you to learn to make, and to make a compelling argument for why the 3 or 4 hours you put in a week, why it's valuable, what it offers, where it's heading, so that when people are faced with Johnny who wants to quit classes, well, maybe we'll go do soccer now, that they go, hey, you want to quit school too, but I know how important education is. You want to quit martial arts? I understand that. It's hard and it's frustrating, but let me tell you, this is going to help you for the rest of your life. All right. Phone's ringing, planes are going over, but the message is important. And so I hope you were able to focus through those things. You need to articulate. You need to remind in every single class so that the payment isn't an obstacle, so that the time you ask isn't an obstacle, so that the hardships and the pulled muscles and the effort and the sweat can be put into perspective. All right, that's what made my schools great, by the way, is that I had that message and I found a place to inspire people that wasn't over the price of lessons or the convenience of the class schedule or, the name of the style, or that I was backed by Ernie Reyes Sr. or any of those things. It was because I reached them here and it affected them here, and they knew why they were coming, and they were hopeful and optimistic, and they were willing to put out the energy long term. And that's what I'd like you to be able to do too. And some of you will be born with that gift, and some of you, like me, will practice and practice and practice until you find the right words and make a convincing argument, and that will carry your school in a way that all the strategies and marketing tools and websites can never do.